Directing. Live page is open. And what happened? What happened? Where'd it go?
Launch meeting, maybe.
Where you see it?
Are we here?
Are we here? We should be. Let's see. Let me see over here. I don't see. Well, just give us a second. If we are live, it doesn't show that we're live on that
As you
end.
disappear into the
Okay,
background.
yes, we are live. We are live. There we go. I got it up and it's on. Okay.
Hello, everyone.
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. We are here for episode 3 of Wealth Building Wednesday.
All right.
Glad to have you join us this evening. There was a little pause in how Facebook is and all of that with the connection, but I think we got it up and running. And the good news is this year you won't hear, this episode, you won't hear our smoke detector.
What smoke detector? What are you talking about?
The one you heard in the last episode. So that's done with this time. So we're just waiting a little bit for a couple of people that said they would come on. Even if you do not see it now, you can always revisit. And this is posted on YouTube as well, so you can see it there. Okay, so just know that we are looking forward to you watching this even at a later time if you're not here this evening. Okay.
Okay, and it looks like we got we got a visitor, Zamir.
Hey, Zamir.
Let's let him on in. Okay. So
hi, Zamir.
The guy that's coming to you right now, it is a very long story how we met Zamir. I don't know if his audio is showing off.
He's calling me out right away, huh?
Yeah, I gotta call you out, man. I'm glad you joined us this evening. And I see I got the Deckies on as well. They're from our marriage enrichment ministry in New York that we were a part of at Allen AME Church in New York, the Greater Allen Cathedral. Big shout out to them. Hey, hi. What's happening, Lori? We see you. Now, Zamir is a very good friend of ours as well. We met him, I want to say, I guess it's been probably about 4 years, Zamir.
20, maybe a little longer than that. It was 2014 or 2015.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay.
We actually met him at our friend's wedding.
Yep.
In Mexico.
We were in Cabo.
In Cabo.
Yep. Yeah, yes. Where we need to be right now.
I wish, yeah.
Such a shame that we all can't travel right now, but it's good to see you on here, Zamir. And also Lori Decky, good to see you on here. Yay.
All right. Yeah, good to see some faces.
Yes, yes. So tonight we're going to be talking about profit and losses. And that's very important. It's close to our hearts, especially when you have a business, to be making sure that this is in the forefront of your business. So I want to start with the meaning of profit and loss. Okay, baby, you want to start with that?
Okay, yeah.
Well, wait a minute. No. We didn't introduce ourselves. And we didn't say why we're doing this. Who are you?
Well, I'm Curtis Grimes of the Grimes Group. And this is my lovely wife,
Carlene Grimes.
Oh, okay. And the reason why we started doing this Wealth Building Wednesday is just to try to get people in touch with their money, number one. Building wealth, a lot of people don't know, they don't have this conversation. So they really don't even know how to build wealth. So I know it was a struggle. It wasn't really a struggle for us, but it was a long process. It was a process for us to to build up our financial wealth, and along with our financial wealth, also our spiritual wealth. So it's a lot of dynamics to building wealth, and profit and loss that we're going to talk about tonight is definitely one of them.
Yes, and in our prior episodes, we talked about the idea of money. Where did we get it from? Some people see money as a taboo. They don't want to discuss it. Their parents didn't discuss it. Their parents' parents didn't discuss it. So now they just say, oh, we're not going to talk about the finances. Don't worry about it. And those are usually the people that end up in debt later on in life. So we want to have that conversation. We want to not only share what we do with our money, but we'd also like for others to share about their experiences with money and techniques that you usually use. Because our idea was to have this intimately first. Before COVID hit, we had discussed having meetings with our friends and family just about money and how do we grow it. So this is a great way because now we get to include a lot more people with the understanding of how money works. Okay. And Zamir is, he really should be teaching this episode right here, but I'm going to take a shot at it.
We can learn from, we'll learn from each other. From each other.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I've seen y'all do great over the last few years. So just for everybody's notes, I met Carl, like I said, we met in Mexico, but I was just drawn to them. They had such a great energy and positive energy, and doing great work in real estate down in Orlando, which is, real estate is absolutely generational wealth creation. And we don't realize it, but there's a reason they call a landlord the lord of the land, right? So
that's a good one.
Good.
That's a good one. Absolutely.
All right, so let's talk about the meaning of profit and loss. Okay.
Well, when people have a business, a lot of times they don't understand the structure of setting up their business, because when you do have a business, you are going to have some profits, which that's definitely what you want. But there are also losses, and losses doesn't mean something that that you're actually losing. Those are sometimes just your expenses. So we consider that a loss because that's not something that's going in your pocket. So the meaning of profit and loss is to calculate the profit, take the expenses away from the income. How do we know if we are ahead or behind in our goals? So that's definitely the beginning of getting started with your profit and loss statement and getting your business set up.
Absolutely, because not only do you want to take account into profit and loss, but you also want to know exactly why am I not reaching my goals, or if I am reaching my goals, how far away am I with reaching those goals? And usually there are certain times a business owner will need their profit and loss statement, and it's not something that every business owner thinks about, unfortunately. So we have to start the conversation of, okay, you're a business owner now. Let's talk about not only your profit, but your losses, because sometimes your profit actually looks like, well, you think it's profit. It's not really profit, but you see your income coming in and you say, well, I made this much amount this month, so I must be receiving profit, right? So not usually. So how we end up needing your profit and loss statement is usually, one, if someone is going to buy a house, they usually the lender will ask for their profit and loss statement.
Yeah.
Correct?
Well, if they have a business, most of the times, if you're just and this isn't just geared towards businesses when it comes to profit and loss. Also, this is basically your daily budget is your profit and loss. Each of us operate basically our own businesses. Our lives are a business. And if you look at it that way, I think that's the first start. Yeah. That's the first start to understanding where your money goes is the key. A lot of people don't even know how much they're spending on their groceries. They don't know how much, I mean, you know, they're making car payments, they're buying this, they're buying that, but they don't ever sit down and budget it and calculate out all of their expenditures. And that's the same thing that a business has to do. They have to sit down, they have to calculate their profit and loss for their business. For businesses to succeed, that profit and loss statement is the key fundamental principle to the growth of that business.
Absolutely. Keeping track of your expenses is important. Well, when's another time you usually need your profit and loss statement?
Well, like we were saying, as far as when you want to purchase a home or something like that, yes, the lender is definitely going to need, they're going to need 2 months of your bank statements, or if not more. They're going to need bank statements. They're going to need your tax returns, all of these things that document where your money is going.
Who calls you for your profit and loss statement?
Who calls me?
Who calls you for your profit and loss statement? I'm trying to get him. I'm driving him in.
She's trying to drive. I don't know where she's trying to drive me to, but my accountant.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm like, all right.
Because of tax time, we usually don't think about it until then, right?
Absolutely.
So now we're going to talk about thinking about it more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
Not thinking about it just once a year, but thinking about it quarterly. And why not think about it monthly or every 2 weeks? Okay, that seems like a lot, but it's not once you get into the rhythm of that, looking at that profit and loss statement. Okay, so.
Okay, we said, and I'm gonna look at some of the comments from time to time on the Facebook feed. I see Judy is on with us, and she said, "Yep,
hey,
keep your receipts.
Keep your receipts.
Absolutely, that is one of the key fundamentals to it. Keeping those receipts and keeping them organized and categorizing them."
And we have different takes on that, though, right?
A little bit.
Tell the truth. This is a truthful situation here. Okay, we're going to be very honest and open with you all, because I believe transparency is the only way to go. Okay,
absolutely.
So I happen to like to keep my receipts,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Grimes here feels that may not always be the way to go. And can you give your take on it?
Well, I use a platform called Quicken that organizes our finances. And our finances always are pretty much in line. So I can calculate and find anything that's been, any expenditure that has been spent
Mm-hmm.
Is calculated. I know what it was for, if it was groceries, car payment, life insurance, whatever it was for. Everything is itemized, and it helps me keep everything itemized. So I don't keep a bunch of receipts.
Like me, I'm old school. So I categorize them in my little folder that tells me what I'm doing month to month. Does anybody else have a take on that? Which, what they do, what makes sense to them? Mm-hmm. Do they keep receipts? Do not? Is that old school? Am I old school?
If you get audited, you're going to want those receipts, Curtis.
Uh-oh. Well, I've been audited before, and as long as I keep it from what my accountant tells me, as long as I keep everything categorized and I have proof, I keep a bank statement. I buy everything on my credit card. So it has the time, the date stamp, where it was, and where I was at the time. So I can associate it with that particular thing.
I'm probably a little more old school like Carlene. I don't keep the physical receipts, but we get them scanned. But I think the main point is just keep documentation, right? Just keep something as a backup. And it's also, something is that back in my early career when I was working as a financial advisor, I found that a lot of people don't know what they spend a month. So when you're talking about profit and loss, tools like Quicken are great to really know, hey, before you know it, especially nowadays with subscriptions. Like the other day, I realized I had like 5 subscriptions that I had forgotten to cancel because in the pandemic, I signed up for everything that was free. Now I need to cancel them. So.
That's good information. See, now you can track where your money's going. That's the key.
There's some comments
I
here.
find also too, just being a couple that Jay is very spreadsheet oriented, and I don't know how to read his spreadsheet, so that becomes an issue. And we're gonna look into that quick, and maybe that's something I can,
Well, it's actually, it is like you do, Curtis. Everything we spend is either on the credit card or bank cards and stuff, and I just download it every so often. Everything is categorized.
It's cryptic.
No, I mean, it shows you where you purchased it, when it was, and stuff like that. And all I do is itemize what it is used for, and that's how we categorize.
And he goes over it with me, but then I have to have an extra set of memory to remember what the cryptic thing it symbolizes. So, but I'm learning.
I'm gonna have to have a disclaimer for the Wealth Building Wednesday when I have certain people on, because all right. So, we have, like I said, the Decky family. This family is very close to us. We've known this family, oh my God, over 20 plus years. Our kids kind of grew up together while we were living in New York. And like I said, we did marriage enrichment together, and we've done a lot of wealth building financial seminars together. We did Crown Financial together. So, I mean, that's one of the things that helped us get to where we are. And it continues, those principles are part of us. It's a part of our daily lives, part of our routine of everything that we do. And trying to jump back in, but I just wanted to put that out there. So this is really to get people started, to get into the habit of building those principles and fundamentals. And, I look at stocks. I used to day trade a lot. And
okay, honey, you going on?
I'm going off
topic. Gotta get him back on topic.
Okay.
This is the unedited version. So when you're live, it's a good thing because you get the unedited version.
Yeah.
You have some comments there.
I got some comments. Let's see. Well, Judy is back on. She said your bank and credit reports has a wheel that shows your spending on it. Okay, yeah. So absolutely.
Okay, there's someone else that made
I
a
don't see
comment.
any
Further up, yeah.
further up. Just your cousin saying hello.
Okay, all right. So let's
Hello, family.
Hey, family. All right. Also, when and if you realize you have more expenses than profit, where do you go from there? Where do you go? What do you do? Okay, we're going to talk about that as well. But first, the reason what brought up this conversation is, we work in real estate, and right now the go-to in real estate is a book called Profit First, because what our career has made us realize is that you can make a lot of money, but you can also spend a lot. And then at the end, it looks like you've made the profit, but you really haven't. So there is a tool from Profit First that teaches us sales minus profit equals expenses. And I go back to the biblical principles of, paying yourself, okay, paying your tithe. He's talking about profit first, paying these things first, and then it will equal your expenses, versus sales minus expenses, because that's what usually happens. We have the sales, then we have the expenses, and then we have the profit. And that's the old school way, because we don't really realize if we're getting profit or not. So let's say you didn't do this method. Why would you think that you're profitable?
No, because I'm bringing in money every week.
Okay, so a lot of us bring in money every week, right? But have you really broken it down to first paying yourself, paying your tithe, and also paying and paying the expenses? Have you broken it down in that manner? Do you do it the old school way, or you do it the new school
Well, I'm still doing it the old school way. I've seen this study and this theory on how basically what Mike, I can never say you know how to say his last name, Michalowicz. Okay. What Michael Michalowicz basically was showing in his theory of profit and loss statements, he basically flips it around where you're doing your expenditures first before you even take in any profit. So for me, I've always just generated it. Yeah. You have this slide. Okay.
Yes.
So,
and I was going to show this slide and I can email it to anyone.
I was going to say we could share it. We can share the screen or not?
At this time, not. It's on my iPad.
Okay. All right, well, you can flip it around and show them maybe.
So we have here that he has existing operating account. Mm-hmm. You pay your expenses, and then the leftover is your profit.
Which is the old way. Which is the old school way. Which is the way that I've always done it. And honestly, I currently do it that way.
Okay. So the new way, which I have proposed to start, but I guess it's not happening anytime soon. The new way is existing operating account. Mm-hmm. Okay, you have your existing operating account, you pay yourself first, you also put aside for your profit, and then you pay your expenses. Okay, this way you always get paid. Mm-hmm. And in today's society, sometimes you don't get paid as a business, or you feel that you have so much money coming in and realize that, okay, wow, now I have to pay my expenses. Okay, so he talks about, and I won't go into the details because I don't have enough time for that, but I can give you a link where you can go. But he talks about putting it in a bank one that allows for profit at 2%, owners pay at 30%, taxes at 15%, right? And then he also says, take your taxes and your profit and put it in a separate bank account, mm-hmm. which you don't see.
Right, and that's to help pay the taxes and everything that needs to get paid at the end of the year.
Absolutely, but he says self-discipline is very important. So in a business, we have to have that discipline there. Has anybody heard of Profit First?
All right, we got one comment. Ooh, that will motivate you to meet your financial goal every month. That's what Keisha Phillips says.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel that, Keisha, that's exactly right. And that's why I am looking at this method as something to start this way, because I believe in discipline. And, as we talk about discipline, you will see Curtis's face change a little bit, because this is where opposites attract when you have a relationship that two people budget differently, save differently, spend differently. So his take is a little different than my take. Mm-hmm. So what is your take on budgeting?
My take on budgeting?
Yes. Be honest.
It is, I bring in enough income to cover all my expenses.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. But let me be very transparent here, because like I said, this is a transparency station or episode or whatever you want to call this. Uh-huh. So let me be very transparent here. We're going to talk about budgeting for just 1 second. And the reason why I want to discuss budgeting and different takes on it is because not only will it affect your business, it will affect your personal life. We see things a little differently when it comes to budgeting. I believe in writing everything down. I believe in having that spreadsheet Jay is talking about. I believe that's the way to go. I want to see it. When I see it, if I can tell you a little story, there was one year that we brought in a ton of money. And I swore
where'd it go?
That
we brought in a ton of it.
We brought in a ton of it.
Okay.
But when I put it on paper and I itemized everything that we spent, all of our expenses, I realized, yes, we still have money in the bank account, but it actually showed a loss. Okay. So for business owners, profit and loss, is very important, but also for our personal lives, if you don't own a business, budgeting is very important as well. Do you remember that?
I do. I remember.
Okay, we were like in the negative. We were in the negative, and that's when I said we have to get really serious.
Mhm.
You know, how do you feel about that? He's speechless.
Yeah, you got me speechless right now. Because you're going all off topic. We did not discuss this.
Well, that's what happens when you're being transparent, right? The truth. Does anybody else have any
How about we stick,
budgeting stories?
how about we stick to the script?
Well, that it also shows you where you're weak at. I mean, sometimes with the budget, when you're finding that you're not following the budget, and you start to see where your expenses are really flying off, you say, "Oh, that's what we need to curb." For an example, in our case, our weakness is eating out a lot, and when we're not careful, we're eating here, or we're eating dinner here, or we're eating, and by the end of the week, you're finding out that you're spending a lot eating
Yeah.
out. And once we put a hold on that, you start to see, oh, that's where the money really went. And you really can't calculate it if you don't follow it. And eating out, we didn't follow. And all of the money we made, we ate it all out.
Absolutely. You know, it's like just because you make more money, that doesn't mean that you have more,
True.
right? Because you're spending it on the luxuries of life. So budgeting is very important to track all of your expenses to see where the money is being set. So for those of you who do not have a business, you know, budgeting is very important. I suggest you start it today.
Mhm.
And how you do that is list all the money that you intake, all the income you have.
Mhm.
Okay. And also list all of your expenses. So that's all the money that's going out. And then anything you have left over, look at that number, because like I said, that number will shock you.
Mhm.
I know it shocked me at one point, and that's when I said we have to get more serious about where we're spending our money. Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, and then if you just do it like in simple numbers, say you're making, I don't know, $500 a week, $500 a week, and then you eat now 5 times that week, and you're spending $25 every time you go out. At the end of the week, you just spent, 150 bucks or so, and you're like, hold up, I can't pay this bill because I've overspent, and it's too late at that point. Now you're trying to catch up.
Mhm.
So you don't want to be running chasing your money. You want your money to be following you and that's why the profit and loss is a trail back to you seeing everything where it went.
Yes, absolutely. He's trying to get me off budgeting. He's trying to get me off budgeting. But I want you to, if you can read to us some of the statistics for how much the average person saves. Because again, not everyone on this call has a personal business. So budgeting was part of my goal here to talk this
Absolutely.
evening.
Okay. Well, it says basically the typical American household has an average of $8,863 in their account, and that's a bank account, credit union, according to recent report from Bankrate. They analyzed the inflation adjusted data from the Federal Reserve that's purely in liquid savings. So it doesn't include retirement funds or any other investments. However, that amount varies greatly by age and the household type. So among those 34 and younger, couples without children have the most put away. They have an average of $4,727 in savings. Single people without children in the age range have an average of $2,729.
Okay, so could you imagine, leaving a bill for someone else to pay?
Mhm.
If, God forbid something happens to you. And I'm talking to the older adults right now that, anything could happen. There's things that we need to consider. And we're going to talk about them on different calls about life insurance and
The
all of that to
retirement
consider
funds.
retirement funds,
Mhm,
because we don't want our children taking care of us.
mhm.
Okay, that's something that I don't want my child to take care of me. So I want to make sure I have enough money to take care of myself. So let's give a little, uh, just let's give a little attention here to what we should have. They say is savings. Okay, so ages 50 to 54 should have at least 146,000. That is recommended. Ages 30 to 34 should have at least 21,000 in the bank. And by the time you've retired age 65 to 69, they say you should have at least $206,000, depending on your lifestyle. If your lifestyle is, going for vacation,
Then you're gonna have to bump that number up.
you're going to have to bump that number up a little bit. So if you like vacations, you like travel, and that's something that you'll have to consider in putting your money together. Now, there's a lot of times when someone will come to me and say, I want to sell my house now because I want to take that money, that investment, or that nest egg, and I want to cash it in so I can travel the world.
Mhm.
I get it. I understand it. That's a great theory to take that nest egg. But I want to start the conversation today because there are some people that don't have any type of nest egg to do that.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's say you have a property, and real estate is what I specialize in. There's going to be other people on here that specialize in stocks and bonds and stuff like that. But real estate is what I specialize in, so that's what I can talk about. So let's say you have a $150,000 condo and you rent that condo out every month and you get some income from it, at least if it's $500 a month. And then when it's by 30 years, you've paid it off, or 20 years, you've paid it off. Now you have that nest egg of not only 150,000, but I hope in 20 years that it has doubled, maybe even, right? So now there goes your nest egg. So what I'm trying to say is, as young as you can, even as we get older, property is probably the best way that I know to go to invest in. Okay.
Mhm.
So that's one of the things that I wanted to bring up. And they say some experts will cite the 80% rule of retirement planning, which states that you should plan to live on 80% of your pre-retirement income. Okay, so that's a number that we need to really look at and consider. So as far as, let's see, anything else that you wanted to discuss? Anybody have any questions
No,
or comments on that?
Well, Judy said, again, our good friend Judy is on here, and I know she's always filled with great wisdom.
Yes, she is.
She said that's where life insurance comes in. And absolutely, when we were talking, I guess that's going back to where she was talking about, the retirement principle of it, the retirement factor of it.
Mhm.
So having life insurance. And I see
Rachel?
Rachel,
Hey,
because I'm looking at the Lady Ray, and I couldn't even think of her name. But Rachel came on, and yes, it is the best investment. Home ownership is definitely the best investment.
Absolutely. And, we're hearing from some of our clients here, past clients, that, they know that they have built wealth through real estate, amongst other things.
Mhm.
But one of the things, one of the ways that they have built wealth is through real estate. And you don't have to start off with a huge investment. We're going to talk other times with even a lender that's
Mhm.
going to speak to us about how you don't have to have a ton of money to put down in order to buy a piece of real estate. And then that piece of real estate could be paying for itself all along. So that's a nest egg you really don't even have to think about. So that's a great way. And we're going to we're going to be talking about the mindset it takes as well. Okay, because again, as we stated in our first episode, there's a lot of conversation we have had as children and young adults, right?
Yeah.
Theories about money, how we look at money. When I was younger, I'd see people with, owning properties, and I'd be like, oh, they are so rich. And sometimes some adults feel the same way. So this is really the conversation that we need to have. Okay. So like I said, I know about real estate. That's all I can talk about.
Well,
but there's going to be other people.
Again, real estate is the most, I forget statistic wise, but statistically, real estate is the largest investment that most people make in their lifetime.
Yes.
And that is the largest driving force to generational wealth. So having generational wealth, it usually begins with some sort of real estate investment.
Absolutely. So if, is there anything else we want to talk about here?
I think we pretty much covered everything that was on our conversation was. Let's see, let's look at some of the comments here. Not leaving your family in debt after you pass away. Yeah, that is definitely one of the principles that we're going to definitely talk about. We have a retirement person that's going to come on with us to discuss that. And then she said, I don't budget, but I have good insurance.
I honestly feel that doing both is my principle.
Yeah, that is definitely
that's
the
just
key.
my belief. I don't like to put my beliefs on anyone else, but I feel that doing both is imperative.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's a few things that I do want to leave you with. Okay, and one is Profit First System.
Mm-hmm.
We ran through it tonight, but you can also watch it on YouTube. Okay, just punch in there Profit First System and see how Mike is saying to get it done. Okay, so there's also Audible that I've listened to. It becomes a little lengthy, so that watching it on YouTube is probably, it gives you 20 minutes of your time to learn something new. Mm-hmm. Okay, also when it comes to budgeting, there is a tool that I've used in the past called Every Dollar. Okay, that's from Curtis's favorite guy, Dave Ramsey. So Every Dollar is something that I've used. You realize this is gonna be taped?
I don't care. Dave Ramsey ain't putting no money in my pocket, so it don't matter nothing to me.
Okay, we gotta edit that one out. See, aren't you glad you're on the live call? So anyway, Every Dollar counts is one of the methods I use. And then just a simple sheet, listing your income, listing your expenses, mm-hmm. and seeing what you got left over, and listing what not only your income, but also what you have. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me get the right wording here. Assets. Okay, so when we are listing and budgeting, I also want you to also do your net worth, mm-hmm. okay, and see what you come up with. So net worth, and I can, again, if you email me at carlenegrimes@gmail.com or grimesgroupinfo@gmail.com, I'll send you the spreadsheet that I have, okay, and it breaks down your budget, mm-hmm. okay, your money in, your money out, and your net worth worksheet. Okay, so I'll email you, I can't talk today, what I have, and then you can go from there. If you have any questions, let me know. So, does anyone else have any questions?
Yes.
Judy's laughing.
Yeah, Judy's laughing at her. Okay. No, we don't have that many questions on there that I can see right now. Profit First System, she gave that a thumbs up. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not going to say that, the profit first is the way to go, or it's not the way to go. Sometimes you have to do what really works for you systematically. Honestly, I mean, because there's a lot of ways that, you know, people budget their finances. So sometimes you have to find the best way that works for you. But then again, there are principles to it. So you have to stay within the principles. That, I think that's the main thing. You know, knowing, number one, knowing where your money's going. That's the key. That's the first fundamental foundational piece. That is the rubric of it. If you don't know where your money's going, you will not have any financial wealth, because you won't be able to stop the leak. So if you say I don't know, if you're on a ship and there's a couple of holes in it, you want to know where the holes are, or the ship's going to sink. So if you don't know where all the holes are, trust me, the ship is going down. And that's the same thing as your finances. Your finances will continue to go down if you do not keep a calculation of where your money is going.
Absolutely. So, everyone, I wish you a good evening with lots of profit and lots of nights with great budgeting ideas.
Okay.
Okay, and Quicken, try that as well if you don't already have.
And there's a lot of other platforms out there. I have been using Quicken probably for over 20 something years. I know that there is Microsoft Money. There is they got this new thing. I don't even know, because I don't really look at anything else, but I have heard of them. You said it the other day, one of them. No, now you can't think of it.
No, we gotta edit this part out too.
Yeah.
All
well,
right,
but there are many other platforms. I can't think of them. I'm not even going to try, I guess. All right. Well, listen, people, it's been real. I hope you guys have learned a little something. I hope we've had fun. Thank you, Deckies. We see you.
Deckies. We see you. Thank you so much
All right.
for joining us, and Zamir and Judy and Rachel and Keisha. Thank you so much, and everybody online that we probably won't see now until later, unfortunately. But thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week.
I don't think next week. Next week is Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving week. Oh,
so we will.
skip that.
Yeah, we're in like 2 weeks. In about 2 weeks, we'll be back.
Yes, we'll be
so
back.
Next week we'll take.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you guys. Great seeing y'all.
Great seeing you. All right. Talk to you later. Have a great evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.